Toni Preckwinkle. I'm chair of the Cook County Democratic Party, and this is our podcast, The 80, about our party, its candidates, and its leaders. We're beginning the podcast by interviewing our elected committee people to discuss their backgrounds and thoughts about the history and future of the party. Today, I'm excited to welcome Bob Steffen, who is committee person for Barrington Township. All right, Bob, tell us a little bit about where Barrington is.
Barrington is as far away from Chicago as you can get. We're in the farthest northwest corner of the county. It's a very rural area.
All right, so this is way northwest. Cook County is pretty oddly shaped, and there's kind of a projection at the north and west part of the county, and you're way at the end of that. Is that
We're in the farthest part of it, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, you yourself have a long tradition of involvement in the Democratic Party. So why don't you tell us the story about your family and your own political experiences?
Sure. Well, it started with my dad. He was the Kane County Democratic chairman for about 16 years. He was politically involved too. He ran for state senate in 1972 and U.S. Congress in 1978. But my first real memory of the political arena was in 1976 when he was a delegate for then candidate Jimmy Carter for president, and he dragged us all along to the national convention out in New York. We all got to go out there and stay in the Waldorf for a couple days. And I just remember fondly meeting the Chicago delegation and the delegation from Illinois. I wasn't old enough. I was 11 years old at the time. So I wasn't old enough to sneak on the floor of the Senate, but I was able to see it from up in the balcony, and it was a special time.
All right. I understand that you ended up meeting soon to be President Carter. Is that right?
I did. I got to ride in a limousine with him, and he had his arm around me in a picture that was in the Daily Herald, and I still have a copy of that I keep with me. And also Mayor Daley Sr. at the time, I got to meet him and several others. And then my dad ran for Congress in 1978. I have a lot of fond memories of that campaign too, because it was, I can't remember the district. He ran against Robert McClory, but it was one of those C-shaped districts that was drawn for a Republican that went all the way from Zion all the way around south of Aurora. And I just remember driving around in a white station wagon with the slogan "Fred instead" on the side of it. That was his slogan for when he ran for Congress. Didn't win, unfortunately, but a lot of fond memories, a lot of long trips, and a lot of walking and handing out literature.
All right. So from an early age, you were involved in politics. Your dad preceded you in Democratic Party politics, and you ended up being a committee person from Barrington. But you've held that position for quite some time. Since when now?
2014. I actually began earlier than that. In 2000, I ran for Kane County State's Attorney. Lost that by less than 1%. So I guess that piqued some interest in Springfield. So I talked to Terry Link shortly after that, and he talked me into running for state senate for the 22nd district. Lost that by a little more than 1%, but I have fond memories of that too. I ran for state senate in 2002. And then I was also involved with the Kane County Democratic Party. I was the first vice chairman for about 4 or 5 years. I was also the Dundee Township chairman for 6 years, and built up that organization until I moved to South Barrington in 2008. Took a little respite for a while to raise my young children, and then got back in and well, I was still involved with campaigns then, but got back involved in 2014 when I ran for Barrington Township chairman then.
All right. So you've kind of knocked around in the state, and you've been involved in the Democratic Party every place you went.
Exactly.
All right. And I understand that your wife is involved in politics as well. So what's the story there?
Well, she's currently a full circuit judge in Cook County. She was appointed back in 2010 by Supreme Court Justice Ann Burke, and we ran 3 times. And finally, in 2018, we were successful, and she was the first Democrat elected to the 13th Sub-Circuit, and also the first Indian Asian full circuit judge in not only Cook County, but Illinois and probably a lot of the Midwest as well.
All right. And what's your wife's name?
Ketke, and that's like Kate, like Kiss Me Kate and Key. Kate Key.
Kate
I
Key.
still have trouble saying it myself. So. Don't tell her I said that.
I won't. I won't. All right. So you've been involved in Democratic politics across the state for quite some time. What do you hope to see either from our Cook County party or from the national party looking forward here?
Well, the National Party, I think I'd like to see them work a little harder on messaging and grassroots organization. I think that's lacking. Democrats, of course, do a lot of great things, but when they do, they don't really have ample or adequate way of conveying that to the general populace. I think they've been lacking in that area. I think Biden's doing a great job now about his COVID stimulus package. He's been getting out there and letting people know exactly how it benefits the average person. But I think a lot of that's been lacking. I'm concerned about climate change. Obviously, I think that's a world problem, not just a national problem. Supreme Court, that's another area of concern for me. Of course, that's a little late now unless we increase the number of Supreme Court justices, but the effect of the conservative majority is going to be felt for decades. Let's see what else.
Well, that's a good beginning.
Okay.
I share your conviction that one of the challenges we've had as Democrats is not putting sufficient attention into communicating the good things we're actually doing for people. And I'm grateful to see that President Biden and Vice President Harris have been kind of coming around the country talking about the American Rescue Plan and what it's going to mean for communities and for families. Because we're making a tremendous investment in a quick recovery, and we want people to understand, first of all, the Democrats made this happen, and secondly, what the possibilities are. So I think you're quite right there. On the climate change side, what do you hope to hear from the Biden administration?
Well, things I've already heard about rejoining the Paris Accord. We're working with China now, apparently. I just heard that in the news. And continuing on increasing investment in green energy. I think he's well on the road to do that. And decrease our reliance on fossil fuels, which again, I'm been pleasantly impressed with his track record in these first 120 days or so of his term. I hope it continues, and I hope we're able to push this legislation through with such a evenly divided Senate.
Right, that is the real challenge for Democrats, the fact that there's a 50-50 split in the Senate, and in order for us to carry anything, Vice President Harris has to cast a vote. So,
assuming we get all 50 of our senators.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big challenge.
But the only chance we have to carry things is if we get all 50 Democrats on the same
Exactly.
side. So that's an incredible challenge. I'm a big believer, as you are, that climate change is surely not just the issue of the moment, but it's the issue of the future. Particularly, our children and grandchildren are going to hold us accountable if we don't try to address this now, because it only gets more complicated and difficult the longer we wait. This is a particular challenge in Illinois, which has had a tradition of coal mining, right? And if we're going to reduce reliance on fossil fuels, we have to figure out what to do in those communities that have traditionally relied on those jobs in mining to try to support those communities and those families. Are there other issues in addition to the ones you mentioned earlier that you want to try to address, or anything you want to say about our national party?
Well, I think one of the biggest issues of our time, again, is income inequality. That's another big thing that I think affects the entire world, and not just our nation or us as a party. I think that needs to be dealt with as well. And I think President Biden's on the right track, taxing corporations more, easing up on taxes. In Illinois, I hope we eventually pass the progressive tax law and make that fair on the middle class and lower income individuals in Illinois. Healthcare also obviously a big concern, and I'm glad to see President Biden expanding Obamacare and expanding the eligibility dates so people can still apply for that.
Right. I think we're making a lot of progress, and I don't know about you, but I'm really encouraged. President Biden was not my candidate in the primaries, but I have been pleased and encouraged by what he and Vice President Harris have done so far in their administration.
Agreed.
All right. Anything you want to leave with our viewers in conclusion about Barrington or yourself or your hopes for the party?
Well, when I started here, Democrats were pretty sparse. I think our weighted vote count when I started in 2014 was 186 registered Democrats. And
Oh my God. Okay.
we've increased that by 1,000%, and we're still going up. Obviously, we're probably still the lowest weighted count of Democrats, but so there's a lot of room for improvement. But we're in outreach. We have a website. We have a Facebook page, and if people want to get in touch with me, I have my cell phone number listed on the webpage and our Facebook page as well, and ways to email me to get involved. We have great precinct committeemen, our captains, I should say, in our township, and they've worked hard, and look forward to growing our party even more.
All right. Well, listen, I'm very grateful that you're willing to join us and for your good work in a part of the county that's a real challenge for Democrats. So
It is, but I look forward to it. And
all right, good. Well, thanks very much. We really appreciate it, Bob, and thank you for joining us.
thank you, President Freckwinkel.
All right, take care now.